Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And BlueDragonFive.
And tonight, we're talking Mr. Banks. Yes, BlueDragonFive, it has been a while since we have come on and talked about a new Marvel attraction, podcast form, but we're doing that tonight, Dragon, because it's a special occasion. It's a Christmas miracle. Marvel has finally entered the grand spectrum of the Disney parks and not just in a meet and greet or cool exhibit format. We're talking a full-blown, not an e-ticket attraction per se, but definitely a very, very well-realized D-ticket thrill ride simulator, the Iron Man experience at Hong Kong Disneyland. So, Dragon, did you know about this at all, or did I kind of bring it to your
we've talked about it before.
We've talked about it? Okay.
We talked about the announcement before. At the very least, if we hadn't talked about it, we were talking about it. And we saw the promotional thing where they announced that Stan Lee was there. We had a kind of our armored Iron Man meet and greeter.
Right.
We knew about this. I just didn't know it was officially done and all up and running and stuff until you brought it up.
Well, speaking of which, I kind of want to get into a little bit of background and all that. So, essentially, 2008 is, of course, the Marvel Disney buyout that happens. 2009 is when the Imagineers slowly start to creep their way in and kind of, we get little things like the Iron Man exhibit at Innovations, stuff like that we get. And they're also kind of just fully realizing like, hey, look, we gotta, let's kind of put our heads together and think about this. And of course, Dragon, with anything in Imagineering, it takes several years of conceptualizing and figuring out what would work, what wouldn't work, where it would go, the technology, all that, yada, yada, yada. And this was right when they were debuting the Star Wars The Adventure Continues at Disneyland, which is essentially the same technology that would be used for this attraction, which would be the, essentially Star Tours, but with a 3D makeover. And then flash forward to 2013, we have the official announcement of the Iron Man experience coming to Hong Kong Disneyland. Hong Kong Disneyland is not necessarily the most successful park in the Disney chain. It's one of the
Isn't it the most recent
ones. The most recent one is Shanghai. Which is pretty successful, but went way over budget. So that's, it's like they're kind of still recuperating their losses, even though a lot of people are going. So
Disney can take a wall off the Empire State Building. They're going to land in a pile of money. They'll be fine.
Well, the worst Disney park is still, by and large, probably the Disney Studios park in Paris, and that's what I belovedly refer to as the middle school campus of Disney parks, because it's essentially just dry slab buildings everywhere. It's very much what California Adventure used to be, ironically enough. But anyways, Dragon, so we got some concept art I remember being leaked online beforehand, as it does. And so we knew about this as far back as, I want to say, maybe the winter of 2012, which was the year the Avengers came out. And then essentially what happened was the whole thing got kind of delayed because, as I said, Hong Kong Disneyland was kind of struggling and Shanghai went over budget, which was the main thing that kind of crippled a lot of the Disney parks. Like 2013 was right after California Adventure debuted their Cars Land and Buena Vista Street, which was a huge makeover. So essentially all the Disney parks were kind of financially struggling there for a while. So we got Shanghai Disneyland opening up this year, and we finally got the Iron Man experience. Dragon, the reason I bring up this timeline is because this film was probably in development, I want to say maybe as far back as before the Avengers came out, probably when the Avengers was shooting. I want to say they probably used the direct Avengers script as the final reference point. This is probably, I want to guess, pre-Iron Man 3 when this thing was coming out. So the reason I bring that up, Dragon, is for one simple reason, and that's to address any plot holes we have with this thing. I think the main plot hole in this, that kind of, it's a little bit of a retcon, is the fact that Jarvis is transformed into your Star Speeder. Your simulator is essentially, we're riding in Jarvis. And that is, of course, a retcon of what happens in Age of Ultron with the whole Vision thing and whatnot. So that's basically the only thing. It's kind of like, I don't know, Disney parks are weird like that, where Star Tours fits in a good way for the most part, except I feel like when they added Jakku to Star Tours and had like Darth Vader and Finn in the same attraction.
I think the only problem with that one is that they need to keep the simulations kind of keyed to like pre-Force Awakens and the pre and post Force Awakens.
They need to decide on the timeline, right? But anyways, Dragon, what are your overall feelings on this attraction now that you've seen it? Now that you've watched a video of it, at least.
I thought it was very impressive. It's just I think the story makes a lot of sense. It's Iron Man branching Stark Expo out to Hong Kong. It's the new Stark Tower. It's a big old arc reactor on. I just attempt to steal it with the help of the audience. Iron Man saves it. Saves everyone.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of fun, and it's kind of a mixture of two rides I really like. My Disney experience, well, Disney and also Universal experience. It's kind of a cross between Star Tours, of course. It's kind of a cross between Star Tours and Jimmy Neutron's Nicktoon Blast.
I knew you were going to say Jimmy Neutron. Yeah,
it's very much. It's heavily Jimmy Neutron. Honestly, it's more Jimmy Neutron than is Star Tours. It's only Star Tours in that it's like the same kind of ride. It's kind of the same.
It's literally basically the same design of the Star Speeder and everything.
That's what I mean. The same design of the awesome. I have a little version of that awesome Star Speeder I got when I was at.
Oh, that's cool. That's great. I
didn't get the big one, but I could. I love the big versions, but it's still the little one is cool.
Again, I think they should do like maybe YouTube mini-sodes of Star Tours or something like that.
We pitched that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. I think that's a great idea. Expand Star Tours out into the online realm.
And bring Paul Rubens back.
Oh, hell yeah.
But yeah, because of that, I mean, it didn't really. I think the only gripe I had with it really was just I didn't. Bear in mind, just because where we are, I suppose. It's just I didn't like Japanese Jarvis because I couldn't understand his parts. Aside from that, I thought it was great.
Well, it's funny you mentioned.
Sorry, not Chinese Jarvis, not Japanese. Sorry.
It's Chinese Jarvis. Yes.
Slipped me for a second. Sorry.
It's funny you mentioned that though, because that is kind of a weird kind of loophole with Disney attractions in foreign languages. Is that oftentimes they'll have one character that speaks in English and another character that speaks in the traditional language.
I believe it was Tara Strong as the other as the female voice in that.
Sure. And then of course we have I'm not entirely sure if this is Robert Downey Jr. or Robert Downey Jr.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a sound alike.
That's what I thought.
At first I thought it might have been Robert Downey Jr., but later on some of the lines during the ride sounds like it's a sound like, which they've done sometimes in some of the animated shows.
Indiana Jones at Disneyland, they have a Harrison Ford sound alike. So yeah, it's not a big deal.
It's kind of like, I don't know if they got the same guy or not. There's the actor in Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I believe it's Wally, not Wally Wingert, but actually, no, it's not Wally Wingert. It's someone. I'm sorry. Point is, there's a voice actor on Earth's Mightiest Heroes, the good Marvel animated show before we lowered the quality in animation over there. But they kind of go for a sound alike to Robert Downey Jr. when they can.
Okay, so Dragon, I'm going to go ahead and screen share a video from the good people at In the Loop. Just subscribe to them if you can, support them. I kind of feel bad with screen sharing other people's videos sometimes, but hey, it's the only way we can kind of visualize this. So I love this exterior, Dragon. I imagine this is in Hong Kong's Tomorrowland. I imagine that the whole area is kind of like a sub area with Stark Expo, because we have this expo shop as we see the queue. It would probably be a very natural progression even on the outside. We see the inside queue in here in a bit, but even we see the arc reactor on the tower, so it's probably a pretty good sub area within the Hong Kong Disneyland Tomorrowland, I'd imagine. So as we just here we're walking towards the building.
The Iron Man experience.
And yeah, I just, like you said, it's a very simple story. Okay, I love this. Great Easter egg right there. Howard Stark's shaking hands with Captain America. That's
that's great. And also the flying car. So they definitely. You're right about one thing too. Is that they all the stuff in terms of research and where they were when they're conceptualizing this. Like the latest point they got to is probably a Avengers because of the tower, but before that, you could definitely say they at least got 2011 because you know the Captain America, Howard Stark stuff. Because they have one of the big Easter eggs they have, in addition to just Howard Stark shaking Cap's hand, you have the flying car, the hovering car.
Sure, sure. And then let's see. The picture with the atom is basically a direct reference to Adventure Through Inner Space in that poster. It's a very similar art style.
It's kind of neat how they're kind of lumping the whole like the history of the flying cars. Howard Stark is kind of tried to perfect in the 2000s. Of course, we have the Iron Man suit Mark One.
Yeah, it's great. It's like the history of Disney parks.
Oh, actually, you'll notice right there. See 1970s. Now above the flying car, the later 70s version of the flying cars. I'm going to guess Howard Stark has been perfecting it over the years. But above that, that's the arc reactor from the original arc reactor from Iron Man 1, and the Howard Stark and Anton Vanko built for Iron Man 1, the giant thing that Tony crashes Obadiah Stane into.
Right.
Yeah, so that's like the original arc reactor prototypes in the 70s. That's the history fans there.
And 2010s, just the Hong Kong stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then I love all these different halls, Dragon. It's so Epcot-like. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
The Hall of Legacy, where it all began.
And this I love. I love this right here.
Yeah.
Because right here you have a flying car. This is all Howard Stark still. See, here's the flying car's hovering wheel from that. I don't know if they use the actual prop. It's probably recreation, but also you have the models of the flying. I just want this whole case right here. I love that. Oh, yeah. That's great. See, there's that flying car. Yeah. Stark ushers in the future in the 1930s.
Okay, do you know what this big machine-like thing is supposed to be?
Well, yeah, I told you. It's one of the one of the hovering wheels from the
hovering wheel.
The hovering car from Captain America. Remember, he tries getting afloat and then he conks out on him.
Gotcha. That's cool.
Yeah.
So it's
right there. There's the first.
Sure.
Well, basically, what just passed. That's the first version of the arc reactor before they built the giant one in Iron Man 1. So that's the one you see in Iron Man 2, that little arc reactor model there.
Mm-hmm. So I love all these different screens. It's very kinetic as you walk through.
And coming up on the
that's
on the
basically
right
the two different actors playing Howard Stark right there in that in that shot.
Yeah. And they're right here. Oh yeah, here we go. Yes,
I knew you love that.
I love that they're finally. I love that they're addressing this these days. You know, this was a huge thing back when. It kind of doesn't make a lot of sense, but it makes like just enough plausible sense. You have the original in Iron Man 2. We have the wonderful Easter egg of the work in progress Captain America shield. I'm going to figure that Howard Stark in the years before he's like tried to develop another shield or something. That's kind of why you have this version of it, like the spare shield.
Right.
He's like always under like half construction. He's either tried to recreate the shield or like just like an emergency thing, or it was like the work in progress version.
Dragon, just say I work at the Disney Museum in San Francisco, and all these exhibits are very much on point with something you'd see there, because it's basically like a physical artifact and then a drawing or a concept art or something like that, and then photographs. It's like that's how all the individual exhibits are laid out. So it's very accurate to you.
I'll tell you what I'd love to see, that Captain America drawing up there just passed. Just hold on this one. This is fine. The image that passed with Cap. It's it's not that, but I'd love to see if like Steve Rogers, he did a drawing to show Howard Stark what the suit would look like. So I got to wonder what that would. I really want to see what that looked like. So if any attraction in the future to do, I just want to see like the original sketch that Steve Rogers did of the Captain America suit.
Well, maybe I'll just have to work that into my pitch later on. We'll see.
Well, I have my own pitches, Tiki.
I'm sure you do.
Bear in mind, they're less developed. Believe me, if I ever develop a pitch, it would take a
I mean, we could definitely do a whole a multi-part podcast on it if we wanted
exactly if we wanted to. Believe me, I have like a whole Marvel land in me.
Oh, and I do too, sir.
Oh, but this is great. And what I love here is that we have the original arc reactor, the one from the cave that Yinsen helped build here, just on the little mantle in front of the Mark One here, at least parts of the Mark One. The helmet.
It's bringing us up into like the 2008 timeline in the MCU, like the very beginning of the current timeline.
I love the sense of history. Honestly, this is really I love this part especially. All this Q stuff. This Q is excellent.
Yeah, the ride itself, I actually think the ride itself works better than the new Star Tours does, and I'll get into why. But yeah, you're right. The queue is very, very well done.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So now, wait, hold it right there, Tate. Now, here's something interesting. So again, this is actually indicating. Now, bear in mind, this isn't like something you'd have to build, so it's a lot. Well, you know, I mean, it's like not something as involved as like Imagineering the whole ride and everything. But this definitely references Iron Man 3. So at least they were
right.
Kind of,
yeah,
I assume as they were getting past the movie and as the years were going by, like this is like a finishing touch, or like paintings to hang around the place. This is stuff they can like add as much as they can. And I figure again, pretty much until Age of Ultron's either going to present like the whole like, well, you know, we can't change Jarvis, but we'll add anything else that we can though.
Exactly.
Either that, or like they definitely at least got to Iron Man 3 before they started to, you know.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there was at least conceptualization going on for Iron Man 3 at the time that this, you know, it would probably get to like the finished product at that point, but like they probably knew that Tony was going to have maybe a collection of Iron Man armor. That was probably something that was early on in the conceptualization phase for Iron Man 3. So.
Yeah, because they probably didn't know the ending. But there's no like, okay, he's gonna have all these suits of armor. Okay, we can work with that. And there's the Mark III.
That's great. That's beautiful.
You know, I don't think I think we're getting to the point where, remember, the Mark III used to be a bigger deal than it is now. It's just now these has like any number of armors, but the Mark III was like, oh, they had.
Well, I mean, I think Iron Man 3 kind of solidified that deal of like, okay, there's just a bunch of them now.
Yeah.
So let's see, what is this? The hull of protection.
Yeah. This is cool.
Let's see. We just passed, you know, like the point where you get your 3D glasses, which I'll talk more about the 3D when we get to the actual ride.
Sure.
Do you know what this is at all? Any concept?
Well, I have an idea. But it's
Stark Everglass. Everglass.
Well, I have an idea. I don't think it's it now I'm thinking about it, but it's probably just something new for the ride, but otherwise it could be...
you know what it is? You know what it is? It's the 3D technology, actually.
Oh, okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, it's the 3D glasses. That makes sense.
I love that Tony Stark just kind of patented the My Jarvis instead of like the I Jarvis or something. Now, this Tiki, I saw this, I really love this, because at first I thought it was going to be a little Whiplash reference, but no, it's even better. It's kind of this...
Oh, God.
It's kind of the version of the Stark. It's the Stark vision, but also kind of this little arc reactor sort of thing you wear on your chest. I think it looks really cool.
Oh,
yeah. Unfortunately, I haven't really seen how they buckle in, but it'd be great if the buckles were like something like that you wear on.
That would be great, but I don't know. Of course, this is a direct Iron Man. Yeah, Iron Man 2 reference. Probably the closest thing.
Probably my favorite part of Iron Man 2 is
right.
Oh, because you know why I love it, because in the comics and everything, I love seeing him use that suitcase armor. It was the coolest version of suitcase armor we got in that movie, when he just like he puts his fist into it. He suits. Oh, it's so beautiful. I'm sorry, go on.
And again, it's wonderful that the queue continues to just go through the timeline of Iron Man like this. It's very.
Yeah, remember, a lot of their meat and potatoes for this ride is Iron Man 2. So this is like a show. Again, it's feeding the whole idea of like, you know, guys, Iron Man 2 still had a lot of good stuff. Let's not forget.
Sure.
Again, just more.
Iron Man 2 had Sam Rockwell. I mean, come on.
Now, this is actually really interesting. You hold in this image.
Okay.
This is interesting. Now, this obviously is not an Iron Man armor, but it's suggesting what a big thing I kind of wish the ride would go more into when we get to kind of talking about kind of maybe some improvements on the ride or something. This strikes me as, okay, it's Iron Man trying to upgrade the world and kind of upgrade kind of the day-to-day things. Like this would be the fire department.
Right.
Basically, imagine now. Tell me, T, aren't you at least wowed in is the inkling of the idea what the fire department are a little bit more like Iron Man? They could fly and they could, you know, put out the fires going up high, have like an extinguishing unit built into the suit. How cool would that be?
It's something that I could eventually see working its way into the MCU.
I mean, tell me, this ride is showing a lot of creative potential here. Like we have ideas like this of, okay, well, armoring up kind of the day-to-day services.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, very cool. The emergency services more accurately, yes. And now here's the Tara Strong character. It's either no, I'm sorry. It's on the right. It's Tara Strong. I forget if she's dubbing this lady or not. There's Dummy. They brought back Dummy.
I love Dummy. I love how Dummy's kind of like a comic relief bit.
And I gotta wonder the ending line of the ride. I really have to wonder if they did what they said they did to him for the ride.
Like in the exit.
Yes, I have to wonder if that's like a little kind of gift shop thing. I don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, well, I wish this video would have filmed the exit. Maybe there's another video online that does.
It sounds like a setup line to me. I think they did it.
Oh my god, that'd be great. Okay, Hall of Energy, and this is great. This is where we get more into the attraction storyline. Kind of.
This is very Court of Owls reminiscent, by the way.
Sure.
Has nothing to do with Iron Man. I slowly mention it. It's
the architecture and everything. Yeah.
That's all. But still, it was a really cool mock-up, though.
And again, this is getting us into kind of like the 2012 of the MCU timeline, where we have Stark Tower, and this is like kind of the Stark Tower Hong Kong edition.
Now, I would assume, I don't know if they knew this going into it, but regardless, it would make it still consistent with the ending of Avengers, where, again, still, this is all very consistent, not just post Avengers. Again, Iron Man 3 could be a link up. It's like halfway through Iron Man 3, it's what they're working with. The point is, at the end of the Avengers, Stark Tower becomes Avengers Tower, so that means the Stark Tower is no more. So he actually wants a Stark Tower, so that's why he's building a Stark Tower elsewhere.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah, I like how they work this whole concept into. I love this. This is where we get the foreshadowing.
These vehicles, I really, I want the main vehicle, if anything. I really just want it has an arc reactor built into the vehicle. It's awesome.
But I love how this attraction ties directly into the park itself, where you're actually in Hong Kong Disneyland.
Yeah.
It's taking place in Hong Kong Disneyland.
I think the thing that demonstrates that best is when you leave, when the ride starts. That's when it looks its best, right there.
We've had some examples of that, Dragon. Like, we've had Soarin' over California flying you, like, especially the Epcot one flies you over, over Spaceship Earth and everything. And
the Stitch's Great Escape that takes place directly in the park is when he escapes. He's in the park.
That's true. Oh, God, don't remind me of that.
What's wrong with Stitch's Great Escape? It's fun.
Ask a lot of people. Ask a lot of people what's wrong with Stitch's Great Escape.
Oh, I think I don't know. I think you ask the common, the average Joe, they're gonna say, "Okay, it's kind of fun."
Anywho, yeah, like I said, I like how Hong Kong, the city itself is right over the bay, just like it is in, the actual geography is where Hong Kong Disneyland is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just like quick.
Some good mock-ups here.
Yeah. Not much to say. It's just I like the foreshadowing on all this. It's like, oh, we're going to see all these in the actual ride.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we're about to get to the experience. Now, you know what I love about that mural, Dragon, is that it's a classic Disney tradition to have murals right at the end of the queue, where it's like, okay, you're outside of the line now. This is what you're going to do.
That's I love a good vehicle design, and these are very befitting of that. This looks, I want this mock-up so much. Look at that. It's beautiful.
What would be great is if every different simulator that you went into was a different design.
That'd be cool, but there's a budget.
Oh, I know.
And I love this. I love how the little window here kind of simulates an Iron Man armor itself, like the head, the faceplate of Iron Man. So now the ride's starting. We should mention that the ride is starting now. We're past the queue. You're sitting down. And
sure.
And we're in the they're all in the hangar here, so that's kind of cool. It's good. This is very much like Star Tours. Isn't it? There's a hangar.
It's very reminiscent of Star Tours. Yeah.
All we need is the faux George Lucas at the end. That's all we need. Oh, do they still have him?
No, I wish they did.
What? They got rid of him?
Yeah.
Aw, they got rid of fake George Lucas. Well, that's sad. That really depresses me, man.
But one of the things about 3D that I really like here, Dragon, I don't think the 3D is used particularly well in the new Star Tours.
Yeah, again, this is kind of hard to tell how the 3D looks watching any of these.
Unfortunately, the video is a little blurry for sure. But, Star Tours has a couple good moments of 3D. The best moment they have is if you get the Naboo scene and you go underwater and face one of those giant sea creatures from Phantom Menace, and the tongue sticks onto the ship's windshield, and it's like, and it gets all all goopy and stuff. It's really cool.
I can't remember if the last time I went, because bear in mind there have been many upgrades since the last time I've been to any upgrade, any of the new versions of the Star Tours. Right? I mean, they've also updated in Florida, right?
I believe so, yes, for better or for worse, because I don't like the Force Awakens updates. But
that's the thing. I haven't been on it since the Force Awakens update. So I mean, Force
Awakens updates are gladly not there anymore.
When I was there, last time I was there was before Force Awakens, and it had the the randomizer was there at that point.
Right, that's still kind of in play. It's weird. It's weird.
The points I had the randomizer, and it's been. So I don't know if I had 3D at that point. I don't know if they've added 3D.
Oh no, they added 3D with the Adventure Continues.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, I think it might have been under the Adventure Continues. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. Let's get on here. So, well, you know what the ride should end with fake Jon Favreau. That's how it should end.
Oh God. Okay, so yeah, like you said,
this is great. Yeah.
So we'd ride over the castle. One of the great things about Hong Kong Disneyland that I've heard is how mountainous the area surrounding it is. So it's very much like a storybook kind of setting, as you can see here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this looks great here. This looks all the exit.
It's very Big Hero 6 like, you know what I mean? Just kind of flying around a big city under bridges and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Very kind of San Francisco-esque, even though it's kind of the wrong location. Oh yeah, so this is great. So we got the big old arc reactor built into Stark Tower here, which design-wise looks cool. For what happens on the ride, maybe not the smartest idea.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I feel like it's another kind of retcon where what happens in the ride, we'll get to it, but I feel like it kind of ignores one of the big character plot points in Iron Man 3.
Again, that's probably like they're halfway through on it. They don't know the ending to Iron Man 3. They don't know the whole the removal of the shrapnel thing. They don't know that yet.
And I imagine that perhaps maybe the post-traumatic stress stuff in general is maybe something that came later in the conceptualization process. And
sure. But also, regardless, I mean, you can the arc reactor is still in use. That's what powers the Iron Man arm. So the point is, you can still sell things on the arc reactor. Tony Stark, can't do the whole arc reactor on the chest thing anymore. Well, I don't know. You can still kind of get away with it because it's Iron Man armor. So regardless, you still need the arc reactor.
Right. Another thing that's kind of messed up in this attraction's timeline, and you know what? We should just kind of say that this attraction takes place in 2012 just for continuity purposes. But another thing that's messed up is that S.H.I.E.L.D. and Hydra are different entities in this attraction.
Yes, well, definitely if it's 2012, that means Pepper Potts' name is on the lease of this one.
Right.
But, oh yeah, so...
Now, okay, I love this. This is very much like we get some classic, like, Tony Stark banter. I'm busy hanging with my people. I love how he's posing.
That's great. And I love in the ride, there actually is like an awesome guy in Iron Man suit who poses with the kids. I don't know if they use pre-recorded dialogue, just have a guy that sounds like him or whatnot, but they have they have like a meet and greet with Iron Man. It looks really cool.
Mm-hmm. Another thing I like about the 3D that I feel would work very well, again, we can't see exactly how the 3D works, but I imagine in ride, the effect of the different screens that come up, showing Iron Man and showing the different locations in the city, that's something they don't necessarily have on Star Tours. They have the holograms on Star Tours, and they have screens kind of off to the side, but they don't have it to this extent, so I imagine that would be maybe an upgrade to Star Tours in that way. Yeah,
and what they're doing here, of course, is they're kind of giving you the experience of having the HUD that Iron Man does. Like all the
exactly.
Things right. Which is really cool. Again, they're really putting basically they're doing what if the ship was the inside of the Iron Man armor?
Because it is a classic kind of visual thing with the Iron Man films in general.
And they're doing a great job of just kind of selling you on like you are Iron Man on this, right? At least you're in the Iron Man armor.
So Iron Man's just like, what? Shield's going after the arc reactor? Stay right there, Jarvis.
Hydra's going after the arc reactor. Oh, right.
Hydra. Well, S.H.I.E.L.D. I mean, you can pardon my confusion.
Well, I mean, it's not that confusing, okay? It was like that. Now S.H.I.E.L.D.'s the good guys. Go with me on this. And now they're making S.H.I.E.L.D. the good guys. It's fine.
Okay, fair enough. So this is another effect that I feel would work really well with the motion simulator and the 3D and everything. Mm-hmm. Iron Man pushing us up, nearly falling. Look, I love all the cars crashing around us.
Mm-hmm. Now,
This is
let me
not
mention
part
this.
of the
So,
tour.
the design of these Hydra robots, these are very heavily designed, if not by the comics, but definitely, I know I've seen, especially the last big boss we got with all these things. I've seen in the Earth's Mightiest Heroes animated show again. They're pulling some things from that here and there, like these giant
Oh.
Hydra. The beginning of the show, like open with these Hydra, these very kind of spindly. What we're fighting now, opening the show as long
Hard
as
to get a good freeze frame on this. So.
yeah. Basically, those Hydra, basically all the Hydra robots are kind of pulled from Earth's Mightiest Heroes, if not somewhere in the comics I haven't seen. But definitely, like these giant spindly legs on like giant Hydra heads. So basically, it's like the tentacle effect looking thing.
Mm. Okay.
It's kind of cool to see kind of melding the movies in with kind of some of the other stuff with Avengers. That's cool.
This is another really good 3D effect right here.
Yeah. I think the best one's at the end where we have like a repeat of that, but even better. This is the wacky ride through Hong Kong. A lot of traffic. Oh, and Hydra attacks too. But yeah, coming up right here is what I'm talking about. Like, you have this giant Hydra head after Iron Man thinks, oh, okay, well, that's a relief. That's done. Basically, this giant like head with spindly legs. It's based on kind of the Hydra logo, and it's kind of the Hydra logo on a giant robot.
It's kind of got like a vaguely Chitauri look to it as well.
Yeah, and again, that's I don't know if they're suggesting like if the Hydra's basing their stuff off of
right. I was wondering about that. Yeah,
which could be a cool idea, honestly. So like, this shot right here definitely looks reminiscent of like Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and they have that giant like that the robots with the giant heads like that.
So this is very reminiscent of the house party in Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
And you know what else it reminds me of?
This is very New Hope-esque right here. They're just gonna follow an Iron Man.
It's New Hope-esque, and it also very much reminds me of Star Fox, which I know is based around Star Wars in a way, but it reminds me like I'm playing Star Fox, especially like with the with the firing at the one thing. What?
Freeze. Stop.
Okay.
Well, it's kind of hard to tell, but that little window there looks vaguely like Arnim Zola.
Oh yeah, you're right. It does.
Now, I'm looking at it closely. I guess it's, I don't know, but that'd be kind of cool if they just made it Arnim Zola, wouldn't it?
If Arnim Zola was like the main antagonist of this ride, yeah.
Well, bear in mind, this would be a cool way of just even after Winter Soldier, you could always say Arnim Zola somehow had like a backup, so Hydra still has him somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying you could still like it's kind of obscure, maybe hard to tell. Maybe there's like some story that's in the queue that we're not seeing mentioning Arnim Zola, perhaps. I mean, it would tie in the Captain America stuff in that queue.
Sure.
Yeah. Big old green explosion. Now this I love this is the great use of 3D here. So
definitely.
Now he rips the little windshield wiper off. Now this is great too. I love how this ride ends. It was one's pulled directly from the Spider-Man ride, but it doesn't matter because it's always a cool ending.
Oh, yeah.
The ride's running out of power, but I love this. It's running out of power, much like Iron Man does in the first Iron Man movie. So again, we're kind of tying in not just to Spider-Man, but not just Spider-Man like in that ride, but it's definitely Iron Man specific.
Mm-hmm.
And Iron Man's kind of towing us in before the power completely runs out, which is also cool. And of course, the ultimate of Iron Man 1 reference is coming up at the very end. So we could have just seen fake John Favreau up there.
I wish.
So like right here with the dummy here, just like dummy spraying Iron Man. That's always a good thing. I love how we can see him through the smoke. And then we have that line where he says, I'm going to turn you into a coin press. Now that suggests that there is an ideal version of this, Tiki. There's like a moving version where the top of the head moves, but it stays stationary, so you can get your coins pressed and get a little iron. I went on the Iron Man experience or something.
Oh yeah, definitely. Okay, so that is the Iron Man experience. Like I said, I do think it might be an improvement over Star Tours, just because I feel like one of the things I feel like with Star Tours is some of the scenes and the randomization are better than others, which leads to an overall mixed ride experience, because you might end up getting the same scenes like 2 or 3 times in a row, and it's not the scenes you want, and it's kind of frustrating that way. So as cool as the gimmick of the multi-scenes is, I really do feel like an overall flowing narrative and not having the multiple scenes would work better for the attraction overall.
Honestly, this kind of strikes me as a Star Tours for the next generation, in a way.
Well, I think it definitely uses the 3D technology at play in Star Tours The Adventure Continues and ramps it up a little bit, which is very, very well executed for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's just want to go through kind of the stuff we like before we get into kind of the future and ideas and stuff.
Yeah, well, like I said, I think probably the best part about it is the queue. I mean, the queue is just really well done. It's almost Indiana. I mean, Indiana Jones is kind of the standard, for all the Disney queues. Indiana Jones at Disneyland. But what I like about it is how, like you said, as you progress through the queue, you get into the history of the Stark Enterprise in general, from Howard Stark way up into 2012, and kind of this weird alternate 2012 with some of the plot loopholes that we have to get around. But you know what I mean?
Well, up to 2012, it's fine. It's post 2012, that's when it starts getting to things. So this is like 2012. It's fine up to 2012. Just there, 13 is when they're just kind of going off like halfway to what Iron Man 3 does, and then the rest of it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think there's really good use of the 3D technology. It's really well paced. None of the segments go on for too long. You get a lot of different variety in the action. You get some cool, you get some really cool flying scenes and vistas. You get some cool shooting scenes and action and different Iron Man armors. So overall, I think it's a really good mix of action. You got some good Tony Stark humor in there. So I think it's really well done overall.
Yeah, I mean, let me go over the technical specs for a minute here, because I always love these little details that are kind of in the ride. It's mentioned that the main vehicle that the audience is in is called the Iron Wing, which is just kind of a cool name, kind of a ripoff of Batman's Batwing, I'll admit, but still pretty cool. It's the Iron Wing, and it fits 44s. I love this giant vehicle, carries 44 people, and it's kind of giving the Iron Man what it's like to be inside the Iron Man armor. Again, as I mentioned, it's kind of a cross between Star Tours and the Nicktoons Blast, but also a little bit of Spider-Man there in terms of the story. At least the ending's very Spider-Man influenced. The queue, again, as I mentioned, the queue is great, wonderfully detailed, again, from the Captain America shield, the Howard Stark timeline, the suits, the Stark vision. Now, the two things, as I mentioned, I think the big, really cool idea with this, even you could, if you tweaked it a smidge, you could just say it's in the modern day, but they're not really super reliant. They approached it to a place where, without the little specificities, like, the whole thing with Jarvis and basically the Jarvis end, it's not off the books that, Hydra's still around. So, I mean, the Hydra is just, it's a lot less, right. Now Hydra is kind of, Hydra isn't as direct these days. That's all you can really say. It's not as direct, or it's kind of like, it's part of S.H.I.E.L.D. Well, it's not that anymore.
Sure. Yeah, and I don't know, in terms of some of the things that maybe would have worked a little bit better, maybe explaining the whole villain a little bit more. Like, if that villain is Zola, it would have been...
Yeah, it's not... I just assume it's Zola because there's kind of a face built into it. It looks very much Zola, like, but it's kind of... I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. Again, bear in mind, it's really kind of shaky 3D. We can't really hear the cue, so we don't really know all the intricacies. But let me say this, though. Kind of the story I really do like. I just want to, I don't know, I'm not going off top here. Just going to put it back into kind of where it could improve. What I really like about the story is that it makes sense that it's kind of Tony, in a way, reflecting Marvel and Disney, that they're branching out. They're kind of going all over the place. Tony's bringing back kind of the whole Howard Stark as Walt Disney idea, I guess, to an extent. It's like Tony's like...
It's kind of like the full circle realization of that, yeah.
Yeah. After he makes a relative peace with his father in Iron Man 2, he's trying to branch out like the modern day Disney. So Tony's branching out. The Avengers took his tower, so as it's set up at the end of the Avengers, he's definitely willing to build more towers. Just going to definitely upgrade the Avengers tower first and foremost. But it's not off the books that he would just still he wants himself. He still wants more Stark towers. So if you're going to branch out, he's going to build. He's basically redoing the Stark tower. He's building another place. So he builds one in Hong Kong. And also, again, I love this connects the idea of the expo, and the idea of the expo is to inspire young minds, in Hong Kong in this case, which is cool. So again, it's a really good premise for the ride. I love the and basically here's what I think could improve this. So again, I think there's some good ideas, and as we saw in the queue, like the whole the fire kind of the firefighter powered by arc reactors, and the idea they're trying to go for here is like the whole Hall of Mobility is. vehicles powered by the arc reactor, everyday items powered by the arc reactor technology, which is definitely kind of a statement in the Iron Man franchise. And it really suggests that Tony's just trying to update the world around us more, which definitely post Ultron, it's kind of a question of if that's now kind of a moot point or not, because we saw what happens when we try to update the world and it kind of turns south. But still, it's like this is back in the kind of the positive version of that dream before he's like crossing the line to artificial intelligence. Like, okay, I'm going to use this thing that it's kind of a new clean energy source. I'm going to use this to power everyday things, so we don't have to be gas guzzlers. We don't have to kind of endanger the planet, sort of thing.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a better direction to go in. The thing, I think maybe the thing with this is it's just as simple as it possibly can be, which is good for a theme park sometimes.
I just think that, again, as it stands, believe me when I say this, as it stands right now, it's fine. It's perfectly fine, so it's really fun. I'm just saying, I think they did kind of really good in that they really, if they put some of these ideas in the dialogues, a little bit, just, like in the queue or somewhere. But again, I didn't notice the firefighter thing until now, so maybe I should redact this a little bit. I like the idea they're suggesting that he's just updating, not only just like I'm going to have like a big old kind of flashy, like I'm going to show you my big old technical achievement here by it's this giant arc reactor I put on a building. It's not just that; it's the whole idea of I'm trying to do this for the world. And he's just trying to inspire the young minds of Hong Kong. So again, if they put a little more on the nose, I think I would have. Like direction where like Tony Stark's purpose is the show, like he's updating the world, upgrading the world more specifically. I love how it utilizes the. I wish they would utilize the Stark Vision, which I just love that title, by the way. Stark Vision, it's awesome. I wish they could utilize the Stark Vision and the chest plate more. Again, like a little buckling the seatbelt.
Well, keep in mind that's one of those things with every Disney 3D attraction where usually the glasses are kind of just an afterthought. It's usually just like, okay, how are we going to explain the fact that we have to wear glasses?
Yeah, it's the thing. Like, again, bear in mind, because probably if there was something in the queue that's again really. I'd like more information in the queue because I can't get enough of that queue, honestly. But if there's more information, like a reason for the Stark Vision.
Well, you know what else, Dragon? I feel like this is also maybe a cultural barrier thing where there's probably dialogue in the queue in Chinese that we're just not picking up on.
Yeah, but it'd be cool. Well, I got two things before we move on to the future thing. Unless you get anything else, but. Two things. One, I want to mention, Tiki and I were talking about this beforehand, but apparently at a certain point, not anymore, it seems, unfortunately. There was, in the California Disney, there was this, there was a simulator, there was an Iron Man attraction of some kind. Basically, they built the Hall of Armor, was tying in the Iron Man 3. They're really kind of, building it up, hyping it up. And it was really cool. Just take my word for it. It was really cool. You can find the videos on YouTube. And there's one thing they had, which was really awesome, was that there was a simulator for the Iron Man armor where it would take your picture and then basically would link up with you if you're standing on the platform, so you could put on the Iron Man armor and you can actually manipulate it.
Okay, that's cool.
And it was really cool, but I don't mean just it's like a funny picture. No, I mean it actually would tell you, like, you lift your arms up and then you can fly. You can fly around the screen in front of you. It's really cool. Now, what if they tied in the Stark Vision to that?
Yeah,
or something like, I don't know, to some capacity. I don't know if they do, like, if they add some stuff like that to the ride, like they have some stuff like that on the side, and then it's like, okay, that's why you're wearing a Stark Vision. You can have a good time, and you're still stuck on from the other stuff.
I mean, honestly, like I said, it kind of goes back to the simplicity. If you want to know my straight answer to your question, it's a good idea. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, I feel like the Star Tour simulator was just the most simple thing they could have done. Maybe moving forward into a new Marvel attraction, maybe we'll get some of that kind of technology going forward. Well, keep in mind, Dragon, one of the things I want to point out with that is what you're talking about was Innoventions, which is by and large, by its very nature, kind of debuting and kind of rotating prototypes. And some, it's like I remember they had like virtual reality headsets back in Innoventions in like the early 2000s. You know what I mean? Like years before the Samsung ones came out. So whatever the hell those Samsung, I'm drawing a blank right now.
The VR.
Yeah, well, yeah, the VR, but they have a specific word for them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Yeah,
they're not paying us. We don't care.
Yeah, but I'm sorry. But you know what I mean? It's like, so that's one of the things I kind of want to bring up with why specifically that technology isn't being used, is that really by and large the technology in that showcase is prototypes. So.
Well, one last thing. Again, I think the only the other stuff's just kind of like, you just be kind of cool extra stuff to know. But there's one thing though I think it would be kind of, that could be improved, that they like, updated the ride or like kind of changed the. I mean, to keep saying update, I meant upgrade for all those parts before. By the way, I just want to make that. There, but you think they could secure the arc reactor and like more, like put it in a different place, like in the center of the building, or the inside of the building, or something, because or at the top it's kind of ripe for the picking at the very top. It's basically it's the Stark, because remember in Avengers the tower is powered by the arc reactor. It doesn't have an ostentatious giant arc reactor. But again, if in dialogue this might fix it. If it's like stated, or if the idea is that Tony Stark wants to really sell people on the arc reactor, saying, "Hey, this is the way of the future. Like you're gonna see this symbol everywhere. Like it's on the front of the ships. It's everywhere. It's like on the fire departments. You're gonna see this everywhere representing."
That could very well be, yeah.
Again, I think a line would. Again, there might be. I don't know, because we can hear pretty much everything but Jarvis is in Chinese. Everything with the exception of Jarvis, is English.
I mean, not necessarily. Yeah. I think there's bits of Chinese dialogue here and there in the queue.
Well, I'm just saying, like, we hear Tony Stark in English is what I mean. What I mean?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, most of the Tony Stark stuff is on the ride. I'm saying in the queue there might be dialogue that we're not picking up on.
All right, fine. But you see what I'm saying, though, right? I think like a line somewhere that whichever the audience is targeted at can understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess with that, let's transition into the future of the Marvel.
Speaking of the future of the arc reactor, let's get to the future of Marvel.
So, Dragon, I kind of want to lay out my plan for Disney's California Adventure, and basically what I'm going to do is be very brief, kind of go attraction by attraction, and also explain for the people watching who know California Adventure how it would fit into the overall fabric, because I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. Because, like, some of these buildings that I'm going to talk about, like, occupying the space of, have been deserted for literally, like, over a decade. So there's been a lot of thought put into what would potentially become of, like, the old Who Wants to Be a Millionaire building, for example. Anyways, so we'll start, Dragon, with the Tower of Terror transformation into Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. This is the thing that's caused a lot of controversy in the Disney fan community, but it's one of the things that you just kind of have to accept and learn to live with. Frankly, it's just one of those things where the license for Tower of Terror, the license for Twilight Zone was kind of running out anyways, and Guardians of the Galaxy is a hot property. Of course, it's going to tie into Volume 2 when that gets released next summer. It's going to, like, Volume 2 is coming out in May, and this is hoping to launch.
Wait, are you sure they're tying it into Volume 2?
I am sure they're tying it into Volume 2, yeah. Well, no, I'm not sure they're tying the storyline into Volume 2. I'm just saying, like, the cross synergy, you know what I mean? Okay. Like, the movie's being released around the same time. Like, hey, you watch the movie, now go see it in the parks. Synergy. But,
dun, dun, dun.
So Guardians of the Galaxy is going to be the thing that I am going to kind of basically, essentially what I'm pitching here, Dragon, is that the Avengers and the Stark Expo and everything is happening in Hollywood. So we can still keep the area as Hollywood Land. We can still have it be a Hollywood backlot, just with Avenger stuff going on within it. And the explanation I have for that is it's going to kind of tie into the Infinity Gauntlet stuff with the Collector. So the Collector would be kind of on the outskirts of Hollywood. Not necessarily. This is one of the things where I kind of have to change, kind of retcon some of the stuff that.
Well, let me ask you a broad. Okay. Let me ask you a broad question. Would you have? It sounds like you're placing Marvel attractions into the Disney park. Would you like have a whole section where it's just completely Marvel Land, like a section that connects to it?
It'd be a Marvel Land, but it'd be within the context of Marvel in Hollywood.
I'm just saying, kind of like how Cars Land works, but would you do that for Marvel?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. I just want to make that clear to the audience out there, too, so you make sure,
And also, like I said, it's important to set it in Hollywood because, A, you can kind of, retroactively...
Malibu, kind of, it's sort of like...
Malibu, yes, of course. But also, of course, it is California Adventure, so if you set it in Hollywood, it would still give it that Hollywood flavor and Hollywood vibe to it. Plus, we had Agent Carter Season 2 in LA, so, it's not out of the realm of Marvel.
I'm saying Iron Man is based in California, so you're fair with that. It's fine. Also, you remember, Iron Man and Ant-Man are kind of based somewhere in California.
Sure, that's true. Ant-Man too. So Dragon, basically this land is going to have 2 E-tickets and 2 D-tickets.
You gotta refresh us on what the E and D means, Tiki.
Okay, well, D-ticket is essentially something like Star Tours, where it's basically like a simulator or like a roller coaster type thing. And E-tickets would be something like more like an Expedition Everest or an Indiana Jones adventure or a Space Mountain, where it's like kind of like a big tentpole of the whole park's lineup.
Okay, gotcha.
So essentially the 2 E-tickets I would have would be the Avengers and Captain America. And the 2 D-tickets I would have would be... Well, actually, no, scratch that. I would have 3 D-tickets. I would have... One of the D-tickets would be a clone of the Iron Man experience. Just instead of set in Hong Kong, set in Hollywood. Change some of the things around, but essentially make it more or less a clone. And then also I would have a Spider-Man attraction. And then also I would... Dragon, this is one of those things where it probably wouldn't happen in real life at all, but I would love to see a Muppet not Muppet Star Wars, we've talked about that, a Muppet Marvel. I would love to see a Muppets Avengers 3D film.
Oh boy.
And it's just kind of like a personal thing for me where, that Muppet Theater kind of left unceremoniously. So I'd love to see it fit back in. If not, I'm sure there's something else they could do with that space. But essentially, the space where I want to put Captain America would be the Hollywood and Dine, which is a restaurant that's been deserted for years. And then the Monsters, Inc. dark ride, which barely gets any ridership anymore. And there's also going to be a change to the transit area, which is right outside of the parks, where they're going to move that to accommodate more space for Marvel Land. So that'll be also where the Captain America ride will go. The Iron Man experience, I feel like, could take over the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire building, which has just been sitting vacant for years and years and years.
Well, what would the Captain America ride be?
I figure it would be a ride with Captain America chasing a bad guy, and you're in the middle of it. You're maybe on a studio tour, and you get involved in Captain America. So maybe it could be like a parody of like
Batrock against Batrock the Leaper.
Maybe it would be a parody of the Universal Tram Tour, where you're kind of like on a tram tour of the studio backlot, and like those classic action chase scenes, like kind of like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back style, where or Pee-wee, where they kind of like go through a movie set. Like that's kind of what I'm picturing for Captain America, just kind of a celebration of like old school Hollywood, kind of connecting Captain America back to the 1930s. Maybe there could be like a parody of the Casablanca set or something like that. I don't know. Very broad strokes here.
Right.
The Avengers attraction, I would tie more into the Infinity Gauntlet stuff. And I would have that take the place of the Hyperion Theater. And also there's a parking lot that's built behind Tower of Terror that they're looking at for space. I feel like the parking lot would be a great place to build a really big show building for an Avengers E-ticket. And then I feel like the Hyperion Theater would be a great place to have the queue. Maybe even have the queue set in the Hyperion Theater in some way. Maybe have the Hyperion Theater be the Avengers' secret base of operations or something like that, like an abandoned theater or something like that. I don't know. I'm just kind of spitballing here. But, and then have the actual show building be kind of where the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff is, and be more Avengers, kind of more of the cosmic cinematic universe. And the only idea I have with the Ride Dragon is maybe have it be like essentially like you could have an Iron Man track and a Captain America track or something like that. One of the ideas I had is maybe one side of the track goes into a scene featuring the Hulk, and another side of the track goes into a scene featuring Groot. Like stuff like that, where you get different variations of the ride. I don't know, just kind of spitballing there. Anyways, like I said, Muppet Star Wars, I'm sorry, I keep going to Muppet Star Wars, Muppet Marvel.
I'll tell you what I do. I'll tell you what I do like to see with Muppet.
Okay.
Muppet. They got me doing it. Muppet. Marvel.
Yeah.
Muppet. Whichever. moniker you want to put under. I just desperately want to see Captain America meet Kermit the Frog.
Oh God, that'd be great.
I'd love this. I just want to see the two most wholesome American icons meet each other.
Would you like to know my Avengers Muppet lineup really quick? I'll go through it really fast.
Okay, so when you're saying this, you mean the Muppets going to be dressed as Avengers? Are going to be paired with Avengers?
Yeah, I'm saying that the Muppets are trying to put on like a stage play of the Avengers. Is essentially the premise.
Okay, who do you got? Who do you got?
Okay, so I got Kermit being Iron Man.
What?
Yeah.
All right, Kermit being Iron Man. Keep going.
Okay, I've got Hulk as Fozzie, and honestly, that was the reason why I had to do Iron, because Iron Man and Hulk, you could kind of do like the science bros, you know. Captain America has to be Sam Eagle.
All right, okay, that's better. Okay.
Like you were probably thinking Kermit would be Captain America, right?
Yeah.
No, Sam Eagle. Come on, it's got to be Sam Eagle, Dragon.
Yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
There's no argument there. Captain America has to be Sam Eagle.
I got something better. I got it. I got it. I know what it should be.
Okay.
Kermit should be Captain America, and Sam should be Falcon.
Oh God, Sam.
Well, think about it. Sam Wilson, Sam Eagle, Falcon.
Oh God,
Eagle.
Falcon. Okay. God damn it, that fits too well. As much as I love
Animal should be the Hulk.
Animal should be okay. That works. Who should be Iron Man?
No, wait. I'll tell you what's better. Okay, no. Fozzie is Bruce Banner. Okay, Fozzie is one of two characters. Okay,
Fozzie is Bruce Banner, and then Animal's the Hulk.
It's either that. Okay, it's either that, or it could be. I'm gonna pitch you two things. It's either Fozzie is Bruce Banner, and then Animal's the Hulk, or it's Doctor like the Bunsen Honeydew as Bruce.
Oh God, the Beaker and Hulk.
No. Well, actually, yeah. Beaker's the giant. Beaker's the Hulk.
Yeah.
And Thor would be Fozzie.
I was gonna pitch Thor as Gonzo.
Oh wait a minute. Yeah, that's. I'm trying to think of like. That's.
Okay, I was gonna pitch Thor as Gonzo, and then Loki is Pepe.
Yeah, Loki should be Pepe. Yeah.
You won't kneel before Loki, okay?
Yeah. I guess Piggy is Piggy's Black Widow.
Well, when I had who's going to be Iron Man? We never figured that out.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Well, it's. Well, I was thinking Gonzo, honestly, but now I'm thinking it's kind of thinking about an Iron Man suit with a nose on it.
Okay, yeah, that would be a good visual.
I'm just saying, think of it. I mean, you could have Pepper Potts being Camilla.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Now, tell me you wouldn't. That'd be a way of. It might be kind of a social. It might be kind of a like a tongue-in-cheek gag. Well, yeah, that's what we all hear. And they have the best rapport ever, but it's between Chicken Box and Gonzo.
Oh God.
So then Fozzie could be Thor because he's funny and doesn't quite get everything, so you don't got that.
Another waka waka.
And again, we got to remember too. Captain America and Thor have a good dynamic. They like each other. Or they respect. Thor respects the crap out of Captain America. So you just look at your buddy dynamic between Kermit and Fozzie.
I don't know, I still like the idea of Iron Man and Hulk being Kermit and Fozzie, but
let's see.
Now, Nick
Hawkeye.
Nick Fury. This is an unconventional one, but just go with me on this, okay? What if Nick Fury was both Sattler and Waldorf?
Oh God, that's beautiful. Yes. Yes.
They're just like the sarcastic guys in the room, just like like making fun of the Avengers the whole time. Like, you guys can't do anything. Oh. I'm glad you like that.
That's good. Either that or make one of them Coulson.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah, make one of them Coulson potentially.
I'm trying to think though. We need a Hawkeye. Who could be? Oh wait, okay, Walter be Hawkeye.
Actually, I had Rizzo as Hawkeye.
Well, I like that better. Go with that. Rizzo's Hawkeye. I'm trying to think of anyone big. Oh, Vision. Vision could be Walter.
No, Vision could be Waldo, the spirit of 3D.
Oh, come on. Be serious.
Why would Vision be Walter?
I don't know. Walter, he's kind of new. He's kind of nice. He's kind of been around. Everyone's kind of gotten to know him and like him. I don't know.
I can't see it. I can't like Vision. I could see maybe as Scooter more than Walter.
All right, fine. Scooter, you're right. Scooter makes a better choice. Yeah, okay, we'll go with Scooter. All right, let's see. Okay, Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch.
Well, I guess Janice, because we're out of female Muppets.
Yeah, unless you want to go with Yolanda.
Wait. I don't know. You had the Rizzo dynamic, so I mean, you couldn't.
Well, you know what? When I had Kermit as Iron Man, I had Miss Piggy as Pepper Potts, and then Gonzo, and then I had Hawkeye as Rizzo, and then Yolanda as Black Widow. So you'd have that dynamic.
I don't know. I guess. I don't know, I feel like Miss Piggy would put in her contract she has to be the Scarlett Johansson type for the film. Yeah, I think Yolanda would be fitting for Scarlet Witch Network.
Yeah, that would work. Yeah,
it'd have to be Spider-Man because he's the young kid.
Robin.
Oh, right. Well, wait. I'm trying to think. What's
I don't know. Spider-Man more as
Robin. His pair with Fozzie in Muppets Most Wanted. So I mean, you have that going for it. No, wait, no, it doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, I was trying to think. Who we had? All right, we had Gonzo's. I'm sorry, you guys feeling we're spending way too much time on this, but
well, I knew we would.
Real quick. Okay, let's if you're okay, so if Walter's not going to be for Spider-Man, well, it can't be. I don't know. I guess Robin. Sure, Robin. Robin is cute. Okay, let's go with Robin as Spider-Man.
I'm just saying, Robin's probably the more historically significant Muppet character. Right. So
you're trying to think. Okay, War Machine. Okay, we need let's see if we Gonzo. War Machine should be Rolf. Should be Rolf.
I like that.
Oldest War Machine. I'm trying to think. I'm just going through the Civil War lineup in my head. I'm just trying to think if we're missing anyone. All right.
Ant-Man.
Yes, Ant-Man. That's Walter.
Walter. Okay. Why are you trying to force Walter into this?
Well, okay, fine. Who else do you have? If you have anyone else, otherwise we have the Electric Mayhem Band.
Oh God. Who'd you say is Uncle Deadly? I mean, I know it probably wouldn't be Ant-Man, but...
Well, he could definitely be Hank Pym, but we don't really have room for Hank Pym. He'd be perfect for Hank Pym.
God.
We're
spending too much time.
Well, we have one last one, T. We got to figure it out. I'm going with Walter unless we got anything else.
Walter, I'm trying to maybe even run through, like, obscure characters that popped up on the TV show last year, like...
Well, I mean, I want Bean Bunny as Ant-Man.
Bean Carl was Ant-Man.
That's hilarious, but I don't know.
I mean, that's all I'm saying. Like, something ridiculous.
But I mean, Walter would fit for Scott Lang because, he's likable and he's at the same time, he's not, he's kind of a newcomer, but at the same time...
I know, I think Scott Lang is, like, more sarcastic than Walter is. Well, whereas Big Bean Carl does have the sarcastic personality.
Yeah, but he's too big. Wait, yeah, I got it.
That's the joke. He's too big.
I got something better, but it's not sarcastic though.
Okay.
Sweetums is Ant-Man.
Yes. I'm just a little ant.
Huh?
Okay, I think we got it. All right. I think we can move
on. Okay, we have our Muppets lineup, and now we spent so much time. Like, can I get to mine now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine they're concepts, but they're a lot brief. I didn't go into the whole pitch for each of them. I'm just going to streamline the ideas. Like, I'm going to basically give you like kind of a bullet points, like a map of Marvel Land on the side. So I don't really know where we go specifically. I'm just suggesting like.
Yeah, like I said, mine was more kind of like I've spent years trying to figure out what would go into these buildings that have just been sitting vacant. So yours is probably a lot more blue sky.
Yeah, mine is just like let's just say there's like a Cars Land section that brings out to some mythical section of the park that isn't like encroaching on any land. So its original land just connects into like all the Marvel goodness is on the side.
Okay.
Yeah. So I way back during Disney debates, much to no competition, much to my dismay, because I had a really good pitch and no one really had any other. They succeeded the point, which just made me feel that was a wasted effort. But I had an Ant-Man pitch. I was really happy.
It was a good pitch.
Yeah, well. Yep. Anyway, so I had an Ant-Man pitch, and basically I won't go through the whole pitch, but it just boiled down to it was kind of a take on like the flicks A Bug's Life. It was like what was
It's tough to be a bug.
It's tough to be a bug. It's based on kind of it's tough to be a bug kind of basically it was kind of that mixed with the Iron Man experience. It's kind of what my ride was. But it was all set in a stationary. You didn't travel with them, but you were the audience watching an Ant-Man battle of varying size shifts happen before you. And when Michael Pena was and Luis was doing like because Luis and Hank Pym were kind of doing the voices of the side, kind of bickering with each other as they were kind of going through. They were trying to raise awareness for like after all the chaos that went down Ant-Man, Pym Tex is trying to kind of raise awareness of like, hey, they're showing off what they got, you know.
Could I also just throw out? I think Michael Pena could do an amazing safety spiel.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think I had him doing an exit spiel. I may have had him do something at the beginning. It's been some times past, but yeah.
So this guy told me about these seatbelts, and you have to fasten them.
Yeah, but still, wouldn't that be kind of a cool attraction? Like they also have some animatronic.
No. What if it was Michael Pena narrating the story of Hank Pym, telling him about seatbelts? So it'd be like the Michael Douglas. You know, and Michael.
Here's what would happen.
Michael Douglas.
Here's what you got. You got Michael Douglas saying, "Okay, Luis, tell him what we got. Tell the give the folks the safety instructions or something along those lines." He says, "Oh yeah, so like you told me." So he goes through the thing saying, and basically going through the whole meeting. Like I remember at lunch when I ordered the Danish, and you told me how to work this. It's like Luis he goes through the whole meeting in which like the meeting before like there was coffee and donuts on the side and like a Danish where he's been told by Hank Pym, okay, Luis, you're going to go over the safety instructions and see, basically keep it loosey-goosey, go through, and he'll expound upon this in front of people. Luis! Just
That's great. That's great.
Regardless, so that sounds like kind of, and also you have like animatronic ants, like basically you play with the scale and the size here.
That's one of the things. I'm sorry, really quick. That's one of the things that Disney does play with a lot is the safety spiel. They've done a lot of fun. It's kind of like their couch gag in a way.
Yeah, but we get the sense of what I'm going for with the Ant-Man thing, right? It's basically like you get to see
right. Again, very similar to Honey, I Shrunk the Audience as well.
Yeah, it's kind of also I think it was drawing a little bit of influence on. It's basically it's like you have like a bunch of like visual, like video screens built around the attraction. So like as he shifts in size, they have a bunch of magnifying glasses so you can see it essentially.
Oh, okay, I like that. Kind of like Circle Vision in a way, where Circle Vision was. It was a video screen that wrapped around a dome. Yeah. So yeah, okay, I could see that.
Because the idea is like these the giant circular magnifying glasses you see like people use sometimes. Basically, a bunch of those like built around. So like
kind of like a spyglass, like like a Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Yeah, more like what you see people like look at jewelry with, like look at like fine tuning stuff with. Anyway, it's the Ant-Man attraction. It's pretty much again kind of a Honey I Shrunk the Kids meets It's Tough to Be a Bug. That's kind of what it is. But Saw Ant-Man is Hank Pym just trying to Hank Pym and Scott Lang just trying to raise awareness for like, hey, Pym Technologies it's fixed, it's renewed, we're doing some really cool stuff. Check us out.
And Ant-Man, I feel, would also be a fun attraction to do because it wouldn't tie in too heavily into the grander stuff going on in the MCU. So it would be like a fun kind of side attraction.
Yeah, Captain America. I just want because as we saw with the Iron Man thing, one of the best parts of it was the queue. So I just want not so much a ride as I want the exact
Captain America museum.
I want the Captain America museum. Here's my pitch for it. It's very simple. Just build the Captain America.
He died. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Do you mind? I'm trying to have a moment.
Go ahead.
So here's what you guys build it exactly to scale as it was in Winter Soldier. You built every little thing from that museum, put it in there. So basically, the awesome Captain America Museum. Also, maybe add a few other things, but here's your framing device that you would add to basically the Captain America Museum from Winter Soldier. You'd have Sharon Carter as kind of your narrator, and she would mention but what basically Sharon Carter is like the guide on like a pre-recorded thing, and she'll be saying, and throughout if she leads like the like Walt, you actually work at the place. You tell me this. The museum, they have like kind of like they have like the headphone jacks where you put it in, like it tells you the thing. You just go around. It has like screens.
Oh, sure. Yeah, we have a couple things like that. Let's see. We have a game where you can put on headphones, and there's instruments that you can sync up to this to Steamboat Willie, like so sound synchronization.
To the point you have something like that, or just the very.
And then we also have games with Disney songs, and then also there's a place where you can sit down and kind of put on headphones and listen to different interviews with different Disney legends and stuff like that. So yeah, very much so.
Either if that'd be great, but if you just want to, if you want to simplify streamline, you basically go on a TV or like just like on something, as like kind of like screen on top of like above every exhibit. You'd have Sharon Carter just kind of leading you. And basically, at the very least, at the beginning, she just frames it so she's using recordings that Peggy Carter did for the museum.
Okay, well, hold on. At the museum, we actually do have screens with Walt Disney. And the unique thing about walking through the museum from a storytelling point of view is it's Walt Disney essentially narrating his life. Yeah. So it's pulled from different interviews, and it's kind of like Walt Disney running you through all the different achievements, the highs and lows, and everything like that. So what you're pitching with Peggy Carter, I could see being a very similar thing. Yeah.
So what I'm saying is basically at the very beginning. So basically Sharon Carter isn't the main thing here. She frames it. She explains it like in the very beginning. Like Sharon Carter will say, like, she'll give like the welcome spiel. You know, Sharon Carter will say like, "Hey, welcome to the Captain America Museum." Throughout, you go to the exhibits, and basically it's like a new feature they added to the Captain America Museum from Winter Soldier, pretty much, or they've updated it so it's
oh, okay, I like that.
So now you hear basically she's framing that you'll my dear Aunt Peggy, she's going to take you through basically she'll take you through Steve Rogers' life, because the ideas in the 70s are like I'm trying basically when we saw kind of the Ant-Man era Peggy Carter, like the 80 Peggy Carter from the 80s, of whenever we saw her in that clip from Winter Soldiers, basically at that time while she was giving the interview, she also like kind of gave interviews for like just basically pieced together all the interviews Peggy Carter's ever given in her lifetime. Now she's passed. And they basically put that, basically that's like she's your tour guide through the thing. She plays like a little, like she'll talk about the exhibits a little, or talk about Steve Rogers' life over like certain exhibits. Mm-hmm. So she'll be your kind of your tour guide, but kind of posthumously.
Sure.
And also you probably have some audio clips of like, maybe some, as you see Captain America, like some stuff from battles, like the Dum Dum Dugan's hat or something, you'd hear like audio from like some recorded like radio stuff from
like maybe like a radio interview with Dum Dum Dugan or something like that.
Yeah, sure. Like you'd also like it's kind of the lives after the war, so like after they got home, like back when years have gone by before Dum Dum Dugan passed away, I assume. So you get interviews of the Howling Commandos, but also you have like a thing.
You get the classic like Bucky Barnes exposition.
Yes, you get the Bucky Barnes exposition. Also, what would be kind of cool is if you had just like a cast member, just if you had a cast member just wear a baseball hat and just dressed like him.
Oh God, no!
Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Just kind of to go around a while, just made with a metal arm, just maybe. Well, just the jacket, but like a little metal hand stick would be kind of the ultimate Easter egg, don't you think?
Oh God. Okay, what if there was like maybe a metal arm sticking out of a door or something like that?
Well, actually, again, if you want to say,
I don't know, like going as far as to have like a position, a paid position as a Bucky in disguise. That's, I don't know. I like your spirit.
Okay, well, regardless, the point is like also you might hear like some of the Captain, like Steve Rogers, like in the middle, like pulled some like radio stuff from the war, so you can actually hear like Steve Rogers in the heat of battle, like ordering the commandos around. Wouldn't that be really cool? Like him talking to Bucky during the thing.
Yeah, I could see that.
Just like stuff like pulled like really archived, like it's really crappy quality and stuff. You just hear like saying, "Buck, Armin's almost on the tree. We gotta go," and add like a little bit of tragic heft to it, where you get to hear, of course, then you get the Bucky Barnes. He's right. Wouldn't that give some kind of dramatic heft a little bit?
Oh yeah.
The point is, I would just spend like hours and hours there if they actually had that. So I'm saying that's what I would put. I want the Captain America Museum, if nothing else.
Now, any ideas for the actual ride?
Well, I'm saying there's no ride. It's just a museum, but it's that one's an exhibit. That one's not a ride. That was just you go there. But you also have like a little theater in there, so you can watch the clip from Winter Soldier, her talking about the Winter Soldier thing. So it's built. It's 100% accurate.
All right.
I know it sounds fan service, but seriously, that'd be a cool attraction, though, wouldn't it?
No, you're right. To me, it sounds like it would be a queue leading up to a ride, though. That's the only thing. Like, I could see that working perfectly as a queue.
I'm saying it's too elaborate for a queue, though.
It's not. Trust me, it's not too elaborate. Have you seen the Indiana Jones queue?
I'm saying, Matt, let me put it to you this way. I think this is the best way to put it. It's like remember the Walt Disney. I don't know if you have it in California, but you probably do.
One Man's
Again,
Dream.
yeah, the one man's dream exhibit for Captain America.
Yeah, I mean, well, what you're describing is like the Walt Disney Family Museum for Captain
I know, I'm
America,
kind of mixing. It's kind of
which would make it a whole attraction if they did it that way. If
that's
they
what I'm
did
saying. I'm pretty much pitching that, but for Captain America.
But keep in mind, Walt Disney Family Museum has like 12 huge rooms, so you know.
So I'm not. Again, bear in mind, if I were to assume the breakdowns, given what we've seen in Winter Soldier, I presume it's like one, two, probably 3 rooms in a theater. It's probably what the layout is.
Okay, so a little bit more modest than what's in San Francisco.
Well, I'm saying like 3 to 4 rooms in a theater.
Uh-huh.
So I was saying it's and bear in mind they're kind of spacious rooms too, so it's kind of 4 spacious rooms in it. So that's still probably big, but you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
That's a guess, though. I'm just saying I have to painstakingly go through. We're not pitching like a whole thing yet, so.
No, I know.
Okay, real quick, I'm just going to fire through these. Basically, a Jack McGee led. Here's a ride for you. So basically, a Jack McGee led Hulk chase. So basically, it's like be like one of those. Your cue essentially would be like Jack McGee wanting you to come along with him as he's like tracking the Hulk, and maybe you have like little in jokes of like the Incredible Hulk TV series, but it's tailored around the Marvel Cinematic Hulk.
Uh-huh.
And Jack McGee, you know, he's kind of he was the guy pursuing the Hulk in the TV show. They referenced him in the MCU. And again, we'd never seen. What if we spent time with Jack McGee, the character, and we tied into the MCU? And if you wanted to, it could either be a thing in the queue, or if you just want to directly tie in for the ride, it could be the thing you're along with Jack McGee on the ride for is you're in Harlem while all the stuff's going on.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's either you're in Harlem or you're just like on a new adventure and you're trailing as the Hulk's kind of laying waste to things.
I mean, honestly, timeline-wise, I think it'd work better if it was a different adventure, but the Harlem thing is cool, though. It's just, like I said, the only thing is you kind of... Because especially nowadays with the Disney theme park environments, you kind of have to make sure that that's going to be one of the challenges I'm curious about with Star Wars Land is how faithfully they can maintain doing everything in the land within one time period.
Okay, well, regardless, let's say it's a new adventure, which still could be interesting, but in the meantime, you could still like track all the events in the MCU. So you like on like the little screen that just play like I've done this. I've been on adventures before, and you just see like a Jack McGee POV of the Harlem event. So you get to see like different angles of Harlem as Jack McGee's kind of scrounging around.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. That sounds kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a Daredevil stunt show.
That would work well, yeah.
Tell me how cool that would be. You walk into like the bad. Seriously, so you go into kind of the Hell's Kitchen side of that. You go seriously.
You could have like a live hallway fight.
Maybe. I'm seriously like a Daredevil stunt show, just like him in like kind of this neighborhood setup, and you're on the side in like a stand or something, just watching him kind of Daredevil. Like they have like stunt performers who'd be like criminals robbing a bank or something. Daredevil lay waste to them.
Mm-hmm. No, that'd be great. You could have the Punisher in there.
Well, look, I don't think you can do the Punisher.
No, I think you could do the Punisher. I think you could work in the Punisher.
No, he's shooting and killing people at a theme park. I don't think it's a healthy combination.
Well, I don't know. Not necessarily.
Hey, I'd like it. I don't know if it's. I think it's kind of you have to.
I mean, you wouldn't necessarily have to be like shooting people.
Well, it's the Punisher, Tiki.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. Anyways, but
regardless, the point is the Daredevil stunt show could be cool. Otherwise, another way of getting a stunt show-esque thing going on.
Maybe just a Defenders stunt show.
Oh, that'd be great, but I don't think we can afford all Defenders. Daredevil's a guy in a mask, so you can have anyone under that thing.
Well, no, dude, I'm just saying, like they have had stunt shows a lot.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool. At the very least, I'd definitely love to see a Luke Cage stunt show. I mean, I'd love to see it. But
like breakable sets and everything. Could you imagine like a Luke Cage where they have like a building that falls down through the course of the show that Luke Cage just like pummels through?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, I'm all for the Defenders. I see what you're saying. I mean, Defenders thing could be cool. I'm just saying I think it'd be easier to make the Daredevil thing happen of all the characters.
Of all the characters, yeah, especially because Daredevil has the mask and everything. You're right.
Yeah, but I'm saying maybe you bring like a professional stunt guy, really good professional stunt guy, like to do the main Daredevil stunt.
Like I said, I could just imagine like the set being, like maybe the set could be like an outline of a building.
Honestly, what I was just thinking of the alleyway. Basically, what if you did a hallway fight but in an alleyway?
I could see. Yeah, I could see that maybe.
So basically the setting would be you have like two buildings, the alleyway, and it's basically he can climb up fire escapes and kind of chase some guys, and you can go down. I'm just saying, yeah, it's stunt show stuff.
I still like the
Basically,
idea.
the same alley where he's fighting Wilson Fisk is what I'm pretty much pitching here.
Yeah,
that's not the area. I'm not saying he fights Wilson Fisk. I'm just saying.
I just think it'd be maybe more cinematic if you had it where you were like, it would be as if kind of like maybe like a dollhouse, kind of view where you can see all the stage is essentially like all the different rooms of a building, and so you see different things going on in different rooms, and there'd be like a hallway in the middle of it. Anyway, okay, so what's next?
All right, this one would be more of like kind of like the Jedi Training Academy thing.
Mm-hmm.
This would be like a Shield Training Academy, and you'd have kind of
you'd have Hawkeye and little Hydra agents.
Would you? You know they forget you. Why do I bother? So it's why don't you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? They've gotten past the.
Why don't I watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? That's a loaded question.
Okay, the point is, you can do a Shield Training Academy where you get some black. Again, this would be another alternative to a stunt show sort of thing, like Black would teach you some stunts, or either teach you stunts or perform some stunts, and maybe you could like learn some a little bit of archery from Hawkeye City, an archery demonstration. It'd be kind of like the idea. It's like it's framed as like, hey, we get to see some people being trained as Shield agents, or you yourself get to be trained as Shield agents. It's kind of a thing there.
All right.
Falcon bungee, either Falcon bungee jumping or like wing gliding. Basically, the Toy Story thing where they have the army guys going on the way down. What if you yourself are like on a thing where you had like you parachuted down, but with Falcon wings?
Yeah, there's different ways you could do that sort of technology. Like you could do a flying coaster, which is essentially a roller coaster where you're kind of laying on you're laying on your stomach essentially. So it kind of gives you a flying like sensation. Yeah,
sure. Just do that, but framed like Falcon.
Last,
these are more just kind of less rides, more attractions. Again, I want a Thor dining hall.
Yes, that would work beautifully.
And you have like one of your chefs, like one of your greeters. Basically, you have the Warriors 3 are going around the place, and you have your Volstagg guys be like kind of maybe picking food from people.
Or what if Thor made like a grand entrance every hour or so?
And he throws the mug down.
Yeah, of course. Another!
That's what I'm saying. What if Thor and the Warriors 3 stopped by? You stopped by like on a certain time, and you had like pictures and stuff, and I was like,
that's a great idea, though. If any franchise should have the dining location, it should definitely be Thor. And you could do a lot of cool menu stuff, like you could do some fusion cuisine for the Asgardian food.
Let's see, Doctor Strange Sanctorum. The Sanctum Sanctorum.
Doctor Strange would work really. Yeah,
you could do kind of basically you could do a stationary kind of Harry. Basically, we go to the Sanctum Sanctorum. You kind of do a little bit like the Harry Potter thing. It's like
kind of like screens mixed with physical sets. Yeah, I can see that.
I'm saying basically, here's your ride. It's very simple. It's just you go in there like the Harry Potter ride, but then at a certain place, you go there, see all the really cool stuff as Doctor Strange did in the movie. But remember, there's giant 3 doors that kind of lead to these locations.
Right.
What if that was where the ride took off? That's where you get into your orb and whatever you're getting.
You can kind of do that similar kind of thing with with the Indiana Jones ride, where the Indiana Jones ride has the Chamber of Earthly Riches, the Chamber of Future Visions, and the Chamber of Eternal Youth, where it's all one room, but there's 3 different doorways that you can go into, and the projections and the lighting kind of make it into different rooms. You could kind of do it that way. So
imagine this: like you're on your journey, and then you basically somehow, either accidentally or not, you go through you go through one of those giant infinite door things, and then basically throughout the journey, Doctor Strange is trying to reel you back and trying to help you out, and then he opens the sling ring, he opens you at different locations, and then you have the Inception thing going on in your dimension. It'd be really cool. Last thing I think I got basically a Wakandan kind of like a Wakanda live show.
Yeah, I could see that.
Basically, you can go to Wakanda and there might be a live show, but what I mean more so.
Let me ask you this: what would be the overall setting for your for your land.
Uh,
It kind of feels like you're jumping all over the place here.
well, real quick, let me say with Wakanda, I'm thinking more of like a kind of a Lion King style show, but about the history of Wakanda.
All right, there's some stuff you could get in there. Okay.
Let's see. In terms of setting, let's see. The Captain America Museum. It's definitely in New York. Well, I mean, it's kind of the idea you're going into. I'll admit, it's kind of a physical idea of like you're kind of going to these locations. You're going to all sorts of corners of the Marvel universe in this attraction. It's kind of the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very much just kind of going to corners. Like it's kind of a global location. Like you're going like you get
Maybe like a global thing, but with New York as sort of a hub.
Yeah, sure. Like Avengers / Iron Man is kind of your central hub with the Avengers Tower, and then to the side you have the Captain America Museum, which is also in New York. Then you go to San Francisco, which is Ant-Man. You go to Hulk can be anywhere. Hulk can be anywhere. Daredevil's still in New York. So again, you're going the section. You have basically have a New York section. That's where you have Daredevil, Captain America, and then your main kind of central hub.
Mm-hmm.
Falcon, you can also lump in a majority of the Avengers stuff in New York if you want to separate, like New York, California, New York. Let's see, New York, California, Wakanda. So that's these. It's about 3 locations.
The Wakanda things is actually like the one that's kind of throwing me off a little bit, to tell you the truth.
I'm just saying, you have New York, you got San Francisco, definitely, because remember, Sanctum Sanctorum's in New York, so you got those.
Well, New York and San Francisco would be a much easier transition. You could even like work in the Sanctorum as a way to transition.
All right, fine. I'll pitch you this. How's this sound? Okay, I'll make it a lot simpler. You got New York. It's New York and San Francisco, and either in San Francisco or New York. Basically, what you do is you model the Times Square Lion King performance, but it's like someone put on a Wakandan stage show.
Okay, I like that. So it's
basically
like street performers.
It's basically that. However, the only it's not street. But I'm saying you actually go into like a theater setup, and the idea it's kind of model. If we're building in New York, it's kind of like you have a section that Broadway section.
Okay.
But the only other thing, basically, that would be next to Doctor Strange because you're kind of going to Greenwich Village, you're kind of going to the out there side of New York, so you're kind of getting the. But the Thor dining hall would be like, okay, you're in Asgard, so I'll give you that one. That one's kind of like it's a dining hall, and there's. And you basically,
but you can like kind of make that like on the outskirts of the land, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You basically build a path of like we start kind of
right.
Central hub. We get further.
Maybe Thor. You could like make a path like it could be like a Central Park type location that somehow goes into an Asgardian forest.
Yeah, well, I mean, more so I was thinking like we get the Doctor Strange, and the idea is like the back of Doctor Strange leads to Thor. It's kind of because you're pushing beyond space. Basically, you have Thor and they have maybe the Guardians of the Galaxy ride, then Thor. It's kind of how it goes. It's Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Thor.
Sure.
We get more and more out there.
Anything for Avengers? Like, because I could see Avengers as being like the major e-ticket that anchors the whole thing.
Well, let's see. Okay, let's see. We have what if we? Basically, I'm thinking of like a tour of the Avengers Tower, but then something goes wrong, and then it's
in classic theme park fashion.
I'm thinking, what if you went on a haunted mansion sort of ride, but then things turned horribly awry? Like basically
so like an Omnimover ride, you say, in terms of like the ride vehicles.
Yeah, basically, let's say, for example, a Vision or something. I'm thinking Vision. I don't know, maybe Vision. Okay, how's it sound? Yeah. Vision and Scarlet Witch. They're kind of given a tour of Avengers Tower. And you basically still have kind of like Jarvis doing have Vision doing kind of a Jarvis-y voice in a way. It's kind of like he's kind of still Jarvis after being the Vision. And they're going through a tour, and then I'm trying to think who would attack. I want to say Kang the Conqueror, but unfortunately Marvel doesn't have the rights to Kang the Conqueror, so you have some force attack, and then they're calling in for backup, but you kind of start with like a sparse amount of Avengers, and then by the end of the ride you have them all there. Like Hulk would be your last ride. Basically, all the Avengers have like an attraction would kind of show up by the end, and Hulk would be the one like to deliver the final blow when you think, okay, the bad guy's down. Then he shows up and like Iron Man make a reference to the ride saying, "Oh, the green guy's never around when you need him, is he?" And by the end, Hulk just smash. I take back every bad thing I've ever said. Like the threat's about to kill Iron Man, then Hulk just smashes it, I take back everything I've ever said, every bad thing I've ever said about you.
Now, one important distinction I want to make here is, man, I don't care what they do. I want to see a full blown, like fully fledged out Hulk animatronic, like full scale Hulk animatronic.
Well, sure.
I think that would be one of the cool. Like I'm just saying, like I don't want to see the Hulk. If they're gonna do a Hulk, I don't want to see him on a screen. I want to see like a fully animated figure of the Hulk. You know, like 8 feet tall, giant, muscular. It'd be amazing.
Honestly, I think I know a way you can work that in there. Basically, if we go on a tour of the Avengers quarters or something, we see Hulk in there.
Like we see Hulk kind of in the Loki cell.
I'm saying, what if we never really get a good tour of the Avengers Tower. We only saw the one, like the party location. That's pretty much all we saw in Age of Ultron. So what if we now Joss Whedon's no longer he's no longer the head honcho over there of directors. What if we we flesh that, because Joss Whedon had a rule like he never wanted to see the Hulk out inside the Avengers Tower. So let's break that rule. Let's just say that based on the cell from the first Avengers movie, he has a whole room made out of that material. Basically, it's a place. It's a place where Hulk can kind of go nuts, and he'll still be controlled.
I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's Hulk's personal room. So
steel enforced room where he can't really break it.
Yeah, so it's like a precautionary room in case they're basically okay. Bruce Banner started transforming Jarvis quickly. Get him to the light. Sorry, not Jarvis. Now it's Friday. I'm sorry. Vision or Friday. Someone, guys, quickly get him to the room. They get him to the room. They lock him in. Then he has a temper tantrum. Gets out.
Okay, we got to wrap up on this, but
I know. That's all I got. So it's
okay, cool. So yeah, I definitely am enthusiastic about the future of Marvel. It's one of the things where it's like, I think the make and break thing to some of my thoughts on California Adventure and my ideas is I really do feel like the make and break thing is if they make it just purely fantasy and purely just like we're gonna set it in New York or we're just gonna ignore the fact that this park is California. If they're gonna change all the Hollywood land and just not set it in California at all, then I'd say at that point just change the name of the whole park. And I'm not even saying that as a sarcastic way, because like I think California Adventure has always kind of been a difficult kind of anchor for the park to bear for a long time. So if they're gonna not have Marvel tie into the California setting at all, if they're gonna just do a New York or something like that, then just change the name.
Now, real quick, I have something to pitch real quick.
Well, hold on, just let me get through my thoughts, and then you can kind of do your final thoughts. But I really do think that if they want to keep in the spirit of the park, that they can just salvage the Hollywood theme and just set the Avengers and everything around Hollywood. And, because you can do the Iron Man experience flying around LA and everything. You can do a Captain America, because Iron Man is set around Malibu and whatnot. And like I said, the one caveat would be the Guardians of the Galaxy, which I think would be tied in with the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy. It would all be kind of the Infinity Gauntlet stuff on the outskirts of the land. So like I said, if they don't have Hollywood, if they just set it in New York or set it something, you might as well just change the name of the park at that point. But to salvage the name of the park, just set it in Hollywood and just work around that theme. All right, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Real quick, just because you just gave me the idea when you're going through your thing. It's like either in a short film or directly in Ant-Man 2, I would love to see some part of that film just have Scott Lang take Cassie, his daughter, to Disneyland, and then what happens? He's taking her to Disneyland, something happens, and basically it ends in a fight in It's a Small World with Ant-Man.
Oh my god, yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's great, I love it.
The thing about it, just on the go, what he does is like he has the suit in a really small container. He pushes a button, then it becomes the full suit. And he puts it on. He's ready for action anywhere he goes.
Okay, so final thoughts.
Yeah, so final thoughts. Basically, what I said with my picture, we should also circle back to the Iron Man experience before we go. Mm-hmm. Basically, I'm in agreement that I think. It shouldn't just be like one general location like New York. I don't know. I think it's kind of a fantasy fulfillment thing, so it should be like if we're doing like a Marvel land or like kind of a huge Marvel based section. I mean, we should like celebrate kind of the various awesome directions we can go. You throw a rock, you hit an awesome Marvel property. You have like Ant-Man San Francisco, Captain America Museum in New York. You got the Daredevil in Hell's Kitchen if you want to go there. You also you have like Thor and Asgard, you Guardians. You got you can go to Wakanda. You can go like all sorts of various Malibu with Iron Man if you want to. Again, California in there, it's definitely directly tied into your location if you were there. But even if you're not, that is, you put anywhere. It's like we're talking about California because California seems to me to be the most spacious. Is that accurate?
No, that's not accurate whatsoever. It's just that California is getting Guardians of the Galaxy, so that's why I'm framing it around California. And there's actually, like I said, there's abandoned buildings in the California Adventure area around Guardians of the Galaxy, like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire building, an abandoned restaurant, stuff of that nature that could very easily be retrofitted into show buildings.
Well, look, just talking
in
general,
lot right in back. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Just talking in a vague general sense of like if there were Marvel attractions, what would they be like? Would be a cool representation of Marvel? Just again the various kind of directions, celebrations of these characters and of these movies of the MCU. What we really like seeing and very kind of represented like rides that are consistent with kind of the Disney quality. Basically, again celebrating with the whole Disney kind of the partnership is about in a way. And it's kind of the whole by a kind of agreement. Lump it under the whole again they're. The benefit of Disney and Marvel being in cahoots together is the Disney quality applied with these excellent characters and the films we love, we get them for this quality because there's kind of a vibe going on there. It's like it's giving us all this creativity. It's two creative forces kind of merging together to give us a lot of, hopefully in the future, it's all these attractions, not just the fictional ones, but the ones that are in the works right now and the ones that are soon reality in Disneyland. It's not just in California, but all over. Hopefully going to be a lot of fun. Just again, honor the characters they're adapting into a theme park or an attraction. Again, all of mine. Again, at the very least, Captain America Museum, all jazz in my mind about. But remember, we got to start with the baby steps. We'll reach all these grandiose, a lot of self-serving.
I think the Iron Man experience is the baby steps.
Yeah, exactly. We have like baby steps of the Iron Man experience, which is good. Again, it's kind of it's whether you're super over the moon with it or not. Whether it's just like, well, this is good, it's really good, solid first step. It's fun. It's kind of a lot. It's what we've seen before, but it's like it's more Marvel themed. The idea is we're gonna, even if we have rides or all of that, it's gonna be good. But if it pushes beyond that, with like the queue we saw, again, the queue could turn into a whole Captain America museum. Could. I don't mean just focus on. I'm just saying again, with a cue of that detail, it could be again, it's kind of playing into a museum atmosphere. You could do that with something else. You could have like other familiar Disney rides, but transfixed with Marvel, and then maybe in the future with other things, again, past these baby steps. Who knows what Guardians is going to present to us? We can push past it and kind of get into whole new territories with these things, and it can be a lot of fun. And that's kind of what Disney's all about. Just kind of again, it's kind of pushing past what we had fun with before in Disney rides. The next, it's reinventing the wheel each time.
Yeah, like you were saying, Marvel definitely has a whole lot of worlds, a whole lot of different variety within the context of the
endless potential.
Genre. And I think that's the thing that people love about Marvel. I think that's kind of what separates them from DC too. Is I feel like, whereas DC, you do have different tones to DC stuff, but I feel like Marvel is more, let's take on different ideas as superheroes, but have them in different genres. Like we broke down, Guardians is sci-fi, Winter Soldier is political thriller.
I think
Ant-Man is basically like a full-on comedy.
I think what you've hit upon, something really, really brilliant. Real quick, and then we're wrapping up here.
Yeah,
I think you hit upon that really represents why Marvel has the most potential on with Disney. Is that DC with DC, you kind of run a wall of like, okay, well, we know what these characters are. We don't really want to change that. We just kind of want to stay in their worlds. But with Marvel, though, as we see in the films, they keep advancing, they keep changing, they keep growing. And, there's always like Iron Man has like a bazillion, has like more, has so many suits. He keeps upgrading. Then he gets past the suits. Then he gets Ultron. He gets all these sort of things. Captain America. It's always a game changer for the Marvel universe whenever Captain America gets, and so we get Ant-Man. Point is, again, all of these changes and all this development. It's kind of going into new inventive directions, which I think is exactly what Walt loves. It's what Walt wanted. He loved. It's what he wanted with the Disney parks, right? He just wanted to kind of just. You're the
yeah,
next
Disney
tech. You
parks
always
we're all
push.
about. Yeah, we're all about evolution for sure. And I do think Star Wars Land is going to be something that pushes the bar on that as well, because Star Wars
Yeah.
Land is going to be the first all immersive environment. It's basically kind of piggybacking off of Harry Potter, but it is going to be the first all immersive environment with like live actors everywhere and stuff like that. So,
Yeah, like Disney's it's becoming too powerful for its own good in a way. It's going to
oh
keep
no,
growing and
Disney is
expanding.
becoming too powerful for its own good. You know the reason why Han Solo is coming out in summer of 2018 and not Christmas of 2018 is because they want to launch Mary Poppins Returns in Christmas of 2018. And if they launch a Star Wars movie, then that'll just overshadow Mary Poppins.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely that.
All right, Dragon, but I got to run.
All
I'm
right.
kind of running late on things. So,
All right, the environment experience was good.
Yeah. All right, so thanks for joining us, folks, and hopefully, like I say, I'm concentrating on California Adventure just because I think realistically that's going to be the first park to get a full-blown Marvel Land. So I'm cautiously optimistic about Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and we will see where we go from in the future. So see you later, folks.